When discussing more design considerations and things we need to be aware of, first, again, we've talked about this slightly, but the importance of accommodating slower computers, and in this case, mobile browsers. As you can see here, as of March 2020, 52% of the internet is using mobile devices, 45 desktop and tablet, 2.65. These mobile users, a vast majority of them are on very slow internet connections. They probably don't have broadband, and viewing your site can be really time consuming if you're not aware of how fast you're loading your imagery and different resources. There's a tool here. You can look up Pagespeed Insights through Google. I'm going to analyze Dixie.edu here, and we'll take a look at how fast that goes through. But as that's loading, it's important to understand this perceived load time. So you can load different elements in your page first, and then bring in bigger elements if you want to. Often I like to load in some of my imagery first, and then load in my JavaScript and other things after. And you can see here in this example, first content. Contentful paint. Looks like time to interactive. We've got some problems here with Dixie's mobile that are causing some issues. And if we look on their desktop version, we've got some issues that need to be addressed there as well. So you might want to run some of your own pages through this when you design them out to see how fast they load. But depending on what you're loading up, how fast your server is, things like that can cause different issues. I also wanted to share, if we're looking at Dixie's data here, I want to look at how many users are using what resolutions. And you can see here we have, that's probably a desktop device, that's a mobile device without question, another desktop. And you can see all the different kinds of resolutions that people are using. And it gets down to where, a very small fraction of your users are using this obscure size, but you need to be aware that you're accommodating all those different sizes with the best experience possible. One of the ways we can do that is something called white space. And white space, is often this big space out on the sides that direct your eye into a certain item. That item can have color or different things that really add contrast and help you focus in on something. Here's another example of some white space. Now, white space doesn't necessarily have to be white. It could be an image that's blurred out and kind of pushed in the background and something up on top. But there needs to be high contrast and something with, where it's not smushed in and cluttered, causing, additional issues. Another type of design that we can look at is something called flat design. And flat design, it's been around a little while, but we really started seeing a movement from Microsoft back in 2006. And they started doing the Zune player, and Windows 8 really embraced flat design. Got another flat design right here, using some different colors. I've got the Metro look here that was brought in, and even Apple got into this in 2007. We saw a movement from the skeuomorphic design into a flat design here, and it really brought things ahead quite a bit in the design world. Here's another example of a flat design aspect, and again, we'll play more around with that some more later on, but again, you have to be careful with the use of 3D objects, lots of drop shadows, gradients, stuff like that, and that's what we call flat design. Another type of design that's been used quite a bit as of late through Google is called material design. And if you've ever used an Android device or a Google product, Google tends to be the one that's using material design. And what it is they're trying to mimic what materials would really look like if they were in the real, or if they're displayed on your screen. So a shadow, like a piece of paper overlaid on top of another piece of paper. And how things interact and move and shift is really interesting. But you can look into that if you go look up material design guidelines. There's some really great guides you can use to help build some of that. The last thing I want to talk about is something called a single page design. And often we'll have a menu and it'll link out to all these other pages, but single page design allows us to click on an item and it'll scroll down to that section of the page. And so we can kind of jump around to sections of one page rather than multiple pages. The nice thing about this is it kind of helps the user weave through your website and look at everything rather than missing big chunks. Kind of think of like IKEA, how you walk in and they make you and force you to walk around the whole store to see everything before you go out and leave. It's just one process you can use. The downfall to this is it often takes a while to load because there's a lot more imagery and content you have to pull up. But just another way to add more design and things to consider while you're designing your pages.